Good morning, it is Jane with Scraptastic Yarns, and I was tagged by Brenda's Knots and Loops for this tag. It is 20 questions, 20 crochet questions. So, I will get started. How old were you when you first learned to crochet? I was 5 years old. My mother was making beaded necklaces, rings, and bracelets, and I wanted a ring and a bracelet, and she told me, you need to learn how to make it yourself. So she taught me how to crochet at 5 years old, and yeah, the very first thing I made, which is the next question, what was the first thing you remember making, was that ring. I had to have that ring. And it was one of those rings that it was, you know, with the elastic cord that came around your finger, the cord did, and then on top was just like this conglomeration of beads, you know, like a big bubble of beads. That was the very first thing I remember making, and then after that I started playing around and I was making doll clothes, you know, for my Barbies and dolls, that kind of stuff. The make you are most proud of and why. Now, there are two things that I've made that I'm the most proud of. One is a crocheted sweater that I have done, and it was my very first crocheted sweater, and I love it still today. I wear it a lot. Many times when I get up in the morning, it's chilly downstairs, so I'll put that sweater on. And I've been wearing that for a long time, for probably off and on the past 18 years. So yeah, that was the very first crocheted apparel item I had ever made. There is one other thing that I'm very proud of, and it's not crochet, it's knitted, and that is my Tree of Life Afghan. Right after I learned how to knit, I had knitted the baby surprise jacket by Elizabeth Zimmerman and a blanket that went with it, and we put it in the county fair and it took first place. But my Tree of Life, that was probably the fourth thing that I had knitted in my life, and I thought I was ready for cables, and it has cables in it, and I did that. Yeah, I don't start easy. I start with the hard stuff. Don't ask me why. I do the same thing with crochet. So I'm proud of those two things. What is the oldest yarn you have in your stash? Oh boy. And I found this when I was going through things, sorting things upstairs in the bedroom, in the closet where I have a ton of yarn in totes, which is no longer in the house. It's now in a storage unit. But you'll see pictures of that on my regular podcast. So, and what it is a baby yarn. I want to say it was by Red Heart, and it was when I was making preemie items for newborns in need and those kind of things. I had made a little jumpsuit or sleeper type thing for preemie. So, and I found a ball of that yarn, and it was purple that had like the white, shiny yarn that kind of went through it. It was probably a sport weight, baby weight yarn, so probably DK number 3. But yeah, that is the oldest, and that was from back in 1993. Is when I found, that's when I purchased that yarn. Whew. Well, other than that, you know, sometimes I'm gifted yarn from other people, so I don't really know how old the yarn is, but sometimes I can tell from the color it's from the 70s. So, just because of the color of the yarn. Okay, knife or pencil grip? I am a knife gripper. I just always have been. I tried the pencil grip and it just feels awkward to me. So knife is what I've done all my life. Do you prefer Boye or Susan Bates style hook? I prefer a type like Boye. I have crocheted with Susan Bates. Some of my Tunisian crochet hooks are Susan Bates, and those are fine for Tunisian, but for regular crochet I prefer like a Boye type. But of course my favorite, brand of hooks, which is the very next question, is my Tulip, followed by my Clover Amours. I just love those, both of those brands. I use the Clover Amours mostly for when I'm using larger yarns or 2 or 3 strands held together. For most everything else, I use my Tulip or Edamo, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, because I love those. They just feel good in my hand. What is your favorite hook size or range of sizes? My favorite hook size is a J hook. I just love the feel of it, love the look of it. However, for ranges of sizes, anything from H through an M are some of my favorites. I do use a I want to say it's a P hook when I am doing several strands together, when I'm doing some of my Scraptastic blankets, where it's just, I hold 2 or 3 strands together and do half double crochet for the whole blanket, just to use up all those scraps, and I really don't care how I pick those up until I'm done with the scrap, and then I'll pick a new one to add in, those kind of things. Favorite weight of yarn. My favorite weight of yarn is the number 4, followed by a number 5. I love those 2 weights. I find them very easy and, easy to use. I also do like a DK weight occasionally, but DK weight, it seems like it takes a lot longer to get finished items. So my preferred is either a 4 or a 5. Favorite yarn fiber and why? My favorite yarn fiber is acrylic, and that is simply because I use acrylic or polyester. Because I do a lot of charity crochet knitting, they need to be easy to wash. Many of these things go to facilities like nursing homes, those kind of things, so they need to be able to hold up in an industrial washer and dryer. So yeah, that is my preferred, but the only reason is because of the charity. For personal use, I do love a superwash merino in anywhere from DK to a 4 weight. So yeah, those are my favorite yarn fibers. Feature one of your favorite yarns. Well, I'm going to feature one of my favorite yarns, and it is a project that I'm working on right now, and it is actually the DK anti-pilling colors. I love the range of colors that are in this. Premier Yarns is one of my favorite companies to purchase yarn from. So yeah, that is one of my favorite yarns. What is your favorite crochet item to make? Believe it or not, it's Afghans, Lapghans, followed by shawls. Yeah, those are what I make a lot of. Although I have made knitted knockers, crocheted and knitted, so those are just some of my favorite things that I do enjoy making. But my favorite most time is Afghans. I just love making them because once you get going on one, it's almost like it's meditative to crochet those kind of items. What is one crochet item you have yet to make? It is by Country Crochet. It is a cabled sweater. Cardigan type sweater. I just haven't found the right yarn that I want to use with it, but it's on my list of things to do. Oh, I skipped, I think. Yep, I skipped this one. What crochet item do you least enjoy making? Don't hate on me. I'm a gurumi. Why? Because mine always come out derpy and look kind of goofy. But I'm trying. I'm trying to learn to like to do amigurumi. Describe my color palette. I would say probably a rainbow. I love all colors. Doesn't matter what it is. There are times when I want things that are more fall color kind of thing. But I would say primarily the rainbow. What is your favorite crochet hack? My favorite crochet hack? It's real simple. It's anything that I can do a crochet trick. And when I say that, a lot of it is doing foundation stitches for starting an Afghan, blanket, shirt. Doesn't matter what it is. Foundation stitches, I think, are a great hack. Simply because you can crochet the length that you need and then you're done. You already know it. It's much better than crocheting a chain and finding out you don't have enough stitches to do the project for the size you need. Although you can also do the foundation stitch at the end of the chain when you get to it from those chains to add on. So I would say my favorite crochet hack are the foundation stitches because they just make life easier in the long run. What are your thoughts on crochet being a trend and companies mass producing it? Well, I have quite a few opinions on that. Because we know companies that are mass producing it are using third world countries and they are paying people maybe 60 cents a day to make those items, and then the companies that are selling those items make a ton of money. I have issues with that because, as everyone knows, crochet cannot be manufactured by machine. Cannot. Knitting can. There are knitting machines that can make all kinds of things, but crochet is one of those that machines just, you cannot simulate crochet with a machine yet. So, I do like that it is a trend, but I wish that people would consider those that are making those items and give them a larger cut of the pay for their work. I do know that in some countries there are rooms where women, even men, boys, children, are crocheting doilies, and they may make, like I said, 60 cents a day for that. And they work 12 hours, a day. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. And they're probably unpopular, but I don't care. Feature a pattern designer that you like and highlight one of their patterns. Now, I have quite a few designers, and one of my favorites is Glenda from Creative Grandma. And that is the project that I'm working on now. It is her grandma's favorite crochet shawl or comfort shawl. And that is that pattern there. But as you know, I've followed Crystal from back a day for years. All of those projects are great projects for charity giving. And so I have used a lot of her patterns, mostly hats, scarves, and some Afghans, lapgans. So those two ladies are top of the line in my opinion, as well as Jay from Jay's Purl and Jam. Purl and Knit Jam, I think that's the name of the channel, because she does crochet and knit, and she does a lot of those from stitch books that she has created. So, you know, can't go wrong with any one of those ladies. What is the next pattern you want to make? Honestly, I am working on a amigurumi, and it's slow going because, you know, mine all come out derpy, and a lot of it is getting the stitches tight enough because I am a loose crocheter. So, those are what I'm working on, and basically it is what is called a loaf cat amigurumi, and so I think my stitches are a little too loose, so I am working on tightening up those stitches for that pattern. What is my best tip for beginners? Do not give up. Keep working at it. Crochet, like any other skill in life, is learned, can be taught, and anyone can do it, but you have to have the stamina to continue to practice it in order to get better at it. So don't give up. You may be frustrated by what you are seeing and what you are creating, but keep it up. Practice every day if you need to. That is my biggest tip for beginners. The other thing is, don't be afraid to stretch your horizons in crochet. I've told you many times that I start with something hard and then go to the easier. The hard challenges your mind, challenges your hands and your fingers. So always, always be willing to practice. It is a craft, it is a skill, and like anything, you need to practice it. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you for tagging me, Brenda. And I am going to tag Glenda of Creative Grandma, April of Be Wild by April Lee, and I believe I am also going to tag Amanda from Tat Mama and the Big Brigade. I think I will also challenge Heather from Heather's Country Crochet. I think that's it. And as always, if you haven't been tagged in this and you have a podcast, consider yourself tagged. I'm going to put the questions down below. And if you are a subscriber and you want to answer them, by all means, you can answer them here. And not only that, but I'm going to put them up on the Scraptastic Yarns Facebook group. So if you want to go over there and answer the questions, by all means, let's have fun with this. It's a great tag, and I appreciate being tagged in this. And I will see you again soon. Be kind to one another, love one another. Get out there and see this big, beautiful world, because pretty soon it's going to be snowy out there. A little more difficult to get out, but you'll still be able to see the glory of the snow. All right, see you guys soon. Bye.